Good evening, mga kalaro, and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro channel where sport Titos talk about the different kind of game, the reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades, Survivor. I'm Chief Bistak Joel Parcon, and with me, as always, is Vice Chief Bistak Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
Hopefully this thing doesn't fall apart.
Hopefully, it doesn't fall apart like what happened to one of our castaways this past episode. And yes, what we're going to do. Tonight we're going to talk about episode 5 of season 44 of Survivor, entitled "The Third Turd." And I think it was really telegraphed. This is the third mention of poop in the season,
Yes.
and yeah, and we were able to successfully predict who was going to say the line. Anyway, just probably not just who it was going to be about, but yeah. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get right into it.
Yes.
So, of course, the first thing I think we need to talk about in our highs would have to be Carolyn.
Oh yeah, of course.
Carolyn, I've been saying that I don't quite like her. I am still not 100% the fan of Carolyn, but she is growing on me. I love her sass, especially during that meal.
Yes.
that meal where Danny and Brandon were growing out. I love Carolyn sassing out. Her sass during that meal.
That was such, well, I mean, I suppose that's going to be like the associated low. That was like really bad gameplay on the part of Danny and
Brandon.
Brandon, right? Like that was quite the low. But
yeah, it's definitely gonna bite them in the ass later on.
Yeah. So that was also like my first time, man. Carolyn. Like doing so well.
Doing so well. I will expound later on some of my thoughts about Carolyn. But yeah, for now, Carolyn, you keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. It seems effective. And yeah.
She was about to like vote out Josh.
Josh, yeah. And she said as much.
Yeah, she was about to vote out Josh, and like we all thought that the bridge with Jam Jam had been burned, but apparently like not quite yet. Like wow,
yeah,
who does that? Like
who is able to do that, right?
Right, she's so much better than like any of us expected.
Yeah, exactly. One person who was able to do that, although he also didn't win in the end, was King George of Australian Survivor, because he kept quote unquote burning bridges left and right, but for some reason he was still able to rebuild those bridges with people that he burned and flipped on and lied to, right?
He was really close to winning that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I guess returning season, right? Like with returning seasons, with returnees, they care more about gameplay than, like, generally I would think they care more about gameplay than they do, your friendships and stuff on the tribe, right?
True.
Like even even Simon like gave him a shave after it was all. Anyway, we digress.
we digress. It's only because the two of us are the ones in this council who have watched the Australian Survivor. But yeah, Carolyn, keep doing what you're doing. That was really good. Going over to the other half of that duo. I love Jam Jam and his being a quote machine. He was the one who gave us the way before. I can't wait to meet Jeff, which became the title of that episode, and I can't wait to poop in the sea. Right? He's got a lot of quotable quotes, and for this one, I have two I've got two that I noted, especially when he was still unsure about Carolyn. I'm throwing Carolyn under the bus, the train, the airplane, the submarine, going back and forth, and then he proceeds to make to and fro noises.
Yeah.
and that thing about we cannot vote a coconut palm tree out, right? So it's like Jam is like he's a treasure chest of quotable quotes for this season.
Yeah, we've all been saying this for quite some time now, but like without Carolyn on this season, if Carolyn wasn't on the season, Jam Jam would be like the standout.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And yeah,
So
so that's what you've got, the two halves of that crazy, but somehow they don't win, but somehow they make for really good TV and they are effective at the strategy part of it. Right?
mm,
They may not be getting it physically, but they're pretty good strategically. So
yeah.
yeah. So any other what other high do you have?
Uh, the Franny confessional, the Franny and Matt confessional. Well,
Ooh.
specifically the Franny confessional, because
Mhm,
the producer broke the fourth wall again, and I
mhm.
like seeing them breaking the fourth wall now. It's like, are you blushing? Yes, I'm blushing. And then like cut straight to her, um,
That
talking
was
about
probably right after, right?
could be, could be.
Yeah.
So like I like seeing them have a little bit more fun with
Mm-hmm.
their editing, right? Like
Mm.
there's so much fourth wall breaking in this particular season, right? What with all of the medical team coming in
Yeah.
and Dr. Will this is I don't know,
I think yeah, Dr. Will
right?
sitting
And
down with Matthew.
yeah, and you know, right at the beginning of the entire season, breaking the fourth wall with Carolyn, and I like the fourth wall breaks. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's refreshing. It's refreshing for Survivor. Um, it is a show that used to take itself way too
Mm-hmm.
seriously. Used to take way too seriously.
Way
But
too
it was a show.
seriously. Yeah.
It's a show that used to take itself way too seriously, and now getting to see them have a little bit more fun
Mm-hmm.
with the show is it's refreshing. You know.
Yeah. That's always nice. And I mean, I had that note here or earlier, but I took it out for the sake of being a little bit more brief. But I did put in another note about how Matt and Franny are just too cute. Yeah. And Martin won't like it because for some reason he doesn't like that pairing, the showman's aspect of it. But yeah, I think that they're just too cute. And I do hope that they work out in
Yeah.
the end.
For Ethiopian food.
Yeah, for Ethiopian food,
See
and
how you
yeah,
know.
see where it goes after that. Right?
You know when we were in somewhere in Boston, or was it already in like Cambridge? But like somewhere in that area that Franny is from. My little
Hmm.
brother took me to like an Ethiopian place once,
Hmm.
and it'd be really cool if it were the same place.
We shall find out if and when we do find out about what happened to Matt and Franny after the island.
Yeah.
We will be sure to let everyone know if the Ethiopian restaurant that they went to is the same one that you went to.
Yeah, because it was pretty good.
Hmm.
It was a pretty good restaurant. My brother and I came out much closer as we
Nice.
left that restaurant. So hopefully, like she doesn't view Matt as a brother after they.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Anyway,
Yeah. Let them be the Robin Amber of the
of the new era.
geeks of the new era. Speaking about geeks, my other high is the two geeks who are geeking out. They called it nerding out, but I would like to refer to it as geeking out.
Yes,
This is of course Kane and Carson nerding out or geeking out about their shared interest. Their shared interest of Jedi, Pokemon, Lord of the Rings. These are our people.
yes,
As you can
very
see
much our
from my
people.
background and your background, yeah, these are our people.
What about the Jedi?
Exactly. What about the Jedi? Right. So yeah, so it's nice to see Kane being able to connect with someone else in the tribe because he did say that the rest of the tribe is old. and
Yeah.
he didn't really
In
have anyone he could connect to. It
in
probably would
in
have been
later
Maddie,
years.
but then again, I don't
Yeah.
think that Maddie was the kind of person who would be as into it as
Yes.
Kane.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to make the distinction between a nerd and a geek, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Carson is a nerd
Mm.
and and um and Kane is a geek.
Why? What makes you say the difference between the two?
Because the geek is the kid that loved the Lord of the Rings, the nerd is the dude that did well in math class. And a lot of times there was crossover there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the D and
Yes, of
D the
course. Yeah.
D&D kid was the kid that did well in math class,
Mm-hmm.
right? But, you find people that lean in one way or another,
Exactly.
Um I had these two friends in high school. Just a shout out to Kenji and Raj, right? Um, we were all geeks and we were all nerds. Like we
Mm-hmm.
did pretty well in school, but Raj was like, good
Leaned
God, he
more.
was like brilliant, right? Like,
Mm.
you know, he ended up like working in a big software company and all of
Oh,
that sort of
nice.
thing, right? And so, like, yeah, we were totally geeky, man. We talked a lot of Star Wars, but you know, he leaned more towards that nerd side,
Mm-hmm.
and Kenji and I leaned a little bit more towards that geek side.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that Carson is more of a nerd, and
Kane.
Kane is more of a geek.
Yeah.
That's a
And then they'll connect
worthwhile
with
distinction.
Matt in the
Yes.
merge.
Yeah.
For the revenge of the geeky nerds. Right? All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, good on these guys for good on us for being represented in
Yes.
Survivor. Talking about
yes. Yes.
representation.
Diversity
Yes.
initiative.
There you go.
Give the nerds and the geeks some love. Carson, by the way, my canonical winner pick, is doing really well.
Yeah.
I really like his strategy about being everything to everyone,
Hmm.
because that's what you need to be in Survivor, right? Like if you need to be, the fun-loving young guy, then you do that. If you need to be like the island brother of somebody, if you need to be like that geeky dude that
Hmm.
you want to hang out with, right? Like he's filling in those roles, and that's the social game. He's doing really well with the social game,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't have pegged him as doing towards the beginning of the season.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, he's got that strategy. I would say that it's strategy down, being able to play these different roles to different people, and yeah, you gotta say he's doing pretty well. So long as he's able to keep up with all of that, I'm sure, as it's especially in the era of putting a lot of importance on connections, right?
Yeah.
Sincere connections. Yeah, it'll take him far, being able
He's
to
he's able
connect
to
with a lot
find
of
a connection with
yeah,
everybody,
yeah,
which is like amazing.
mhm, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah. Go ahead.
and his line. And once they figure out that that's what he's doing, they'll be gone or whatever it was he said. Like, oh my god,
Strategic. That's why it's strategic.
ruthless, man,
That's why it's strategic.
ruthless.
Yeah, that's why it's strategic because if they find out that he's putting on some putting on a mask just to make that connection, but yeah, he won't wait for them to rat him out to everyone else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so good on him. Good on the kid. Oh, I've
Right.
got a question for you. That meal,
And
that meal with the journey meal.
yes,
Do you think that there was really nothing there? Was that just a meal? Was that just a break?
probably. My comment there is the thing that they described as a light snack didn't look very light, but um
They had a lot
I
of
am
wraps, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
I need to eat like a burrito or a wrap sometime soon.
I'm gonna take them at their word for it. Like
Hmm.
it's Otherwise, it wouldn't be my other high. The fact that the journey was just nothing really,
Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because because something that I found to be kind of annoying, not annoying, but um when it became predictable
Mm-hmm.
that going on a journey gives you something, or all of that. Like in the old era of Survivor, it used to be when you send somebody to exile,
Mm.
you're 100% sure that they're going to get like an
An
advantage or something.
advantage, or at
You
least a
just look at
clue.
yeah, so you look at fans versus favorites, for example, like um when they sent, blanking on
Aussie,
Martin. They sent him to the, like,
when he
let's
sent,
vote him,
was
let's
it
vote him
Aussie?
out. But then we sent him to exile, and like he
Yeah.
comes back with an idol. Like, come on, right?
Yeah.
Like it becomes predictable. So it's cool that they're going with the whole unpredictable thing, because it was starting to become predictable that going on the journey means that they're going to come back with an idol, or you know risk to vote, or
Mm-hmm.
something to that effect, and throwing it into the sort of meta that um the journey can actually just be nothing really.
Mm-hmm.
It adds another layer of confusion,
Mm-hmm.
another decision, another data point to consider in your decision.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could be sending them out to do something amazing, or it could just be absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not knowing 100% what's going to come up that makes the choices interesting and more consequential, you know.
Mm. This actually ties into one of my lows later on, so I'll discuss it more later during the lows. But yeah, I do also like the fact that there was nothing, although there might have been an opportunity to put a hidden advantage somewhere there, especially since Sarah just got voted off in the previous episode. So the inheritance advantage is back in play, and it would have been the opportune time to put it back in, right?
Yeah, like
But
put it in a fish or something.
put it in a fish, put it in a wrap. I don't know. Like a spoiler alert for the menu for those of you who haven't watched the menu. Like print it in one of the tortillas, the clue to like the advantage, right, or anything like that. But yeah, that would have been the opportune time to put it back into play. But then again, you put it back into play with just only three people who were able to possibly get that advantage. That might not be the best way to reintroduce it into the game. So yeah, I like the fact that there was nothing there. Although part of my lows later on, I think that they might have probably planned for something else. Uh,
Well, that's yeah, that's possible. But the press release of it being nothing
mhm. Yeah,
is
that's
good
yeah,
for the game,
yeah, yeah. It's good. Yeah,
and
you're
the
right. It's good for the game.
possibility.
It's good for the fact it makes it unpredictable. This was the kind of unpredictability that I was looking for when I said that I wanted U.S. Survivor to emulate Australian Survivor a little bit more, like
Mm.
the tribal council, where all of a sudden it's an individual immunity challenge,
Or
that kind of thing, or the okay, send him off to the other tribe for, and then hope the team makes it back, right? All of those things, all of these things that could have that makes Survivor less or harder for, especially for super fans to figure out, right? To make
yeah,
it a challenge for even them.
yeah, yeah, because it's the age of super fans, right? Like,
Yeah.
you don't really want you don't really want to solve meta coming
Mm.
into the game, because that's what's going to make it stale,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Any other highs?
Uh I wanted to keep it short
Keep it
because
short. Yeah.
we're recording a little bit later than usual, so let's keep it short.
Yeah. And yeah. One last thing for me though. You alluded to it with your greeting. For me, that was a high. The immunity idol fail, the fake immunity idol fail of
Oh
Josh.
yeah.
That was a high for me. Only
Yeah.
because he got found out. He got found out, and it's such a it was funny for TV.
Yeah,
to see
it
that
was a
happen.
great moment of television. I mean, my first low is Josh's gameplay, and I wanted to talk about it there. But now that you bring it up, yes, it was like one of the best things that happened in the episode.
Yeah, right. And then you've got Jam Jam and Carolyn like ribbing him about it. Like, yeah, like that was the paper that he showed me last time. Did he think I didn't read it? And then you've got Jam Jam like it broke apart in my hands. And in their confessions, they were like laughing about it.
Jo- Josh being like, "Oh, I'm in a power position." Not anymore.
Not anymore, you aren't. Okay, yeah, so quick and easy. That was fast. No other highs. So, of course, we do have. While the third council member isn't here because he is out there enjoying WrestleMania, he was still able to send in some of his thoughts. So let us go ahead and listen to Martin's thoughts.
Martin's Thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
And here's a very short version of Martin's thoughts. I am Martin, and come from you live from the other side of the globe and lacking of sleep. Here are my thoughts. For my highs, there's just a couple of highs actually. First is Carolyn and Jam Jam coming back together. It's a reunion, baby. It just took an episode for both of them to realize that, hey, maybe, just maybe, Josh is the sneaky snake, and that he'll turn on them and join this bro alliance, especially when Carolyn was part of that island trip with Danny and the other bro. So, that turned to the advantage of my favorite and winner pick, Jam Jam, and our favorite Carolyn. And that means there's a chance that Carolina Mania will be running wild throughout the merge starting next episode. Okay, the other high, I guess, is that the segment back there in the island where the three of them were chosen and they went there and there was no advantages. It's just a simple getting together, simple lunch, brunch, whatever you call it, with no game implication items. By implication items, I mean like the swap or another hidden immunity idol or another clue or whatever. If I gloss over it, don't mind me, it's the jet lag. And that's it. That's my highs. You guys take care.
Martin's Thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Okay.
I like
Martin's
that game
thoughts.
implication items,
Mhm.
right? Because like the journey did have really big game
Yeah,
implications,
yeah.
especially when they're all on the same beach. And I'm using the words that they did. We have thoughts about that. But game implication items, is that like a
I
word
don't think
that's
it's like
in,
a
yeah?
it's something that they use, and I think that's a term that Martin coined.
Nice.
Nice. Good on you, Marts. All the way from where's WrestleMania this year?
In Hollywood.
Texas? Hollywood. Oh, nice.
Yeah. In the
All the
SoFi
way.
Stadium.
Nice. So yeah, hope you're enjoying your WrestleMania vacay. See you soon in the next council, hopefully, Marts. Yeah. So yeah, he did point out a couple of the same things that we did point out as well. Although he has always been a staunch supporter of Carolyn and Jam Jam. Yeah. So that's it for the highs.
Mm.
Let us go over. Yeah, we were gonna say something.
No, I was just like, mhm.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go over to the lows. And what's your first low?
Josh's gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, it's painful to watch. Like I feel bad for the guy.
Mm,
When he was in what was the name of his previous tribe?
the green tribe.
Soka.
Token, yeah.
Soka. Yeah, when he
Yeah.
was in Soka, he was like right on the bottom, right?
Hmm.
And
And
we
he
didn't
thought
get
that
an
he was right smack in the middle or in the swing vote position, the power
yeah,
position, right?
yeah, but like he was right on the bottom. We didn't get to know or see why. And then when he transfers over to when he swapped over to Tika, we see him just go straight to the bottom,
Mm.
like, and we kind of see why,
Mm.
you know, it's yeah, the gameplay isn't great as Jam Jam puts it. It's also his was it the bitch face or whatever? What was it? The
Oh
resting
yeah,
bitch
yeah.
face?
The bitch face, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I the line that was that the editors chose to put in for Josh was yeah, I want to play with you, but I don't trust you or whatever.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
it's a very old school way to play the game, if if
Hmm.
I if I may. It's a very old school way to play the game, and the game has evolved,
Yeah.
where the person that backstabbed you in the previous tribal council could be your ally
In
for the
the
next round of the game, right? As is being shown by Carolyn and Jam Jam, where
Mhm.
Carolyn um well went behind Jam Jam's back, but now it's like they're ready to take out Josh. So
Yeah.
you know it's quite it was painful to watch Josh's gameplay because he seems like a genuinely nice guy, and
Yeah.
like
And we
it's
we
it's
got to
just
see his backstory this episode. He
yeah.
has a really nice backstory.
Actually, that should have I should have included that as one of the highs. The misdirect, the
Mm.
misdirect. Usually we have like in the scramble after the immunity challenge, the editors will put forward two people that might be going home, and
Hmm.
come tribal, you're like, oh my god, right? Like they put forward the two people that could be going home. In this particular episode, what they did was they telegraphed it, absolutely telegraphed it to the whole world that Josh was going home.
Hmm. And then all of a
And
sudden,
then all of a sudden,
something else
like,
happens.
it's Matthew. Well, there was also the fear for Matthew going home, so that could have been the two people that they were putting forward. But like they absolutely telegraphed that Josh was going home. Like it's
Yeah.
one of the tropes in reality TV. Once we get the person's backstory, they're ready to go. Like
They've told their story. Now they can be shown the door.
yeah. So that was that's fun.
Mhm.
That, I was I guess blindsided. That's the word that
We
we
were
use,
all
but
blindsided.
it was something that pleasantly surprised me.
Hmm.
But yeah, Josh's play, man, it's it was quite sad to watch because I know he can do so much better. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
It's just he's being edited to be such an idiot.
Or not, probably not, would you say, not an idiot, but someone who doesn't quite know his status in the tribe, or there's a lack of self-awareness. We've been bandying this around.
Yeah,
Lack of self-awareness or awareness of where, yeah, exactly, awareness of where
yeah,
he stands in the tribe, right?
yeah.
And something that just came to mind, we've been talking about how different, the same circumstances or sort of similar circumstances are come up with different outcomes in the different tribes, in the three
Mm,
tribes, right?
yeah,
Like how they treated the cage, how they treated the what was inside the cage, how they, yeah, like how they treated the hidden immunity and the fake immunity idols, how all of that came up with different outcomes. And then even here you've got Josh, Jamie, and Carson, who got swapped into each other's tribes, and then each one of them is sort of covering a different kind of path. Like Carson is
true.
getting fully integrated into into his tribe. Jamie wants to work with her tribe mates, but it seems as if people are like keeping her at the distance, and you've got Josh, who's
Yes.
just really
On the outs.
on the outs, totally on the outs. Right. So it's funny. It's interesting how this is coming out, right? In the different in the three tribes that we've got heading into the next episode, which where they're all gonna come together finally,
Yeah.
right?
That was I didn't think of that. Nice. Getting to see that. Getting to see the contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and sort of the dramatic irony of Jamie being like, if this was the tribe that I could have picked, this would be it. And then, cut to Franny and Matt being like, they don't know that we're close. Or she doesn't know that we're close. Nice.
Nice. Yeah, so yeah, that's something that just came to mind. But one low for me though is that, of course, I started hyping him up, especially with the way that she was able to fool Jamie with a fake immunity idol. But yeah, it's sad to see Matthew gone.
Yes.
I did get a chance to check his exit interview, not with Rob Has a Podcast, but with I forget who the other ones.
Gordon,
Gordon.
what's his
Yeah,
name?
yeah. It wasn't just a dislocated shoulder. Apparently, he had to have surgery, several surgeries
Oh, yeah.
done. I mean, his collarbone was messed up. His back got messed up. A lot of things got messed up, basically. So he had to do a lot. He had to go through a lot of surgeries. I do hope that he gets invited back, just like Bruce.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is probably going to be Survivor 46, right?
yeah.
Where Bruce and Matt come back, or Matthew come back for like second
Mhm.
chances sort of thing. I don't know. It's like
Mhm.
a it's like a thing, right? It's you know he something that stood out to me was how they didn't show Matthew quitting,
Mm.
and it was
They
like,
made it seem as if it was the show that decided that he had to go.
well, if you listen to what Jeff said, he said that Matthew took himself out,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
Because from the exit interviews, right? Matthew was about to be pulled, but then to have agency over his own game, he was like, "No, I I'm going to take myself out of the game." It's like, you can't fire me because I quit, like something like that. But we don't get to see that moment,
Mhm. Mhm. Does
which
this affect his chances of getting back into the game because he quit rather than was medivac?
hmm, hmm. Oh, Jeff doesn't like quitters, right?
Yeah, right.
That's like his thing, right? He doesn't like quitters. So I don't know.
But
I don't know.
would Jeff had wanted him to keep on going with like especially now finding out that Matthew needed all of those surgeries to get back into shape, right?
Yeah. So yeah, he's a sure-in for when we finally do that episode about who we would cast for returning season. He's
Yeah,
on the top of the list.
yeah. So
Like
long as he
him
doesn't
and
try to get
Bruce.
on top of the rock, he's on top of the
Yeah,
list.
yeah. His last words were he regrets climbing those rocks. Although if he does come back for a returning season, like on the last day, like on day 26, it's 26-day
Mhm.
season now. On the last day, he might like look up at those rocks if he makes it that far and just climb them.
Oh gosh,
that
that
would
would
be
be like,
amazing.
yeah, a triumph of the human spirit.
Yeah,
Right?
it would be like Rocky, dude. Like
Yeah, yeah. Another low on your side.
um the gameplay of Brandon and Danny at the
Mm,
journey.
yeah.
It's like you're not supposed to do that to somebody that can potentially be an ally.
Hmm.
And little do they know that she's like a strategic genius. Maybe that's what Survivor's producers and editors are like trying to tell the story of, right? Like
Hmm.
Carolyn being a strategic genius that everybody underestimates, and then here are the bros underestimating her,
Hmm.
and she starts picking them off one by one at the um, at the merge. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. I had a thought about that. Yeah, it was so weird because like Danny was like broing out with Brandon, and one of the things that he wanted to bro out with Brandon about was because I always wanted to talk to you about your tattoos, and then here's Carolyn also with an arm full of tattoos, and like,
yeah,
dude, she's right there.
yeah. That was like, dude, she's right there.
And then she even said like, I'm right here. Am
It's,
I part of this, or like
and
they were totally
now,
discounting her. That's kind of sad that they were discounting her and that's specifically one of the reasons why uh dudes like them, like the big physical uh quote unquote challenge beasts, don't get far because they keep on discounting everyone else. They keep on thinking that they're the ones getting discounted, but they're the ones discounting everyone else.
yeah.
Right?
So they're the ones that are gonna be picked off by Carolyn come merge, right?
Yeah.
Those three,
Yeah.
Danny, Brandon,
And Josh.
and Josh. That's the prediction. That's the
Yeah.
prediction.
Sad on Josh. He didn't really want anything to do with the bro alliance, but he got lumped into it because he looks physically strong too.
Like
Right?
like what's it? Again, from yeah, fans versus favorites, when
Mm.
Amanda was brought into an alliance by Parvati without like wanting to be part of the alliance. Like, she brought me into an alliance without telling me. Like Josh, the new Amanda.
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah, so sad. That's yeah. Too bad for Josh. We didn't quite see him in the first couple of episodes. Now he's being brought into a lot of things without
right?
his
But then
needing or wanting to do it.
he's being brought into like the fold, but in exactly the wrong way. Like that's not what we want to see. You know?
Exactly.
We want to
Well,
see villains. We don't want to see people falling over. You know? And I suppose this is going to be one of your lows. Like speaking of villains, the
mm,
person that we could have had as a great villain for
yeah,
the show just
Matthew.
had to be pulled or
Yeah,
quit before he could have been pulled.
he was. I said it a couple of episodes ago. He was turning out to be like George, King George of Australian Survivor. So it's sad that he had to go.
Best
Uh,
player, he was playing the best game, or at least he was being
yeah,
shown to have been playing the best game of everybody on that island.
yeah,
And,
making
sad.
like the right moves at the right time. That's
Yeah.
what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carolyn seems to be winging it a lot. She ends up making a lot of good moves, but it seems as if she's winging it a lot.
Mm.
Matthew seemed to have been thinking through a lot of his moves and pulling them off at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have it the way he was shown to us was he didn't have the Achilles heel of being driven by emotion
Mm,
that Carolyn has, right? Because that
mm,
was something that Carolyn did mention, that like she is a very strategic person. She can be a very strategic person, and we've seen it.
mm.
But she can sometimes be driven by her emotions,
Yeah,
and that's a weakness that we didn't see Matthew have.
yeah.
So you know it's quite sad that we're losing who was probably the best player
Mhm.
of that entire season.
Yeah. And another thought with Matthew gone, so we now have two advantages that are coming back into play. His immunity idol and the inheritance advantage, right? So yeah, that's something that we'll have to look out for. And meanwhile, the two immunity idols of Jamie and Carson are now rendered useless. But Josh didn't tell sorry, who was it? Carolyn didn't tell Danny and Brandon. Basically, she didn't know the nature of the immunity idol of Josh having an expiry by the time that they merge.
Yeah.
So there will still be a target on the backs of Carson and Jamie. And yeah, for those who don't know about it, then they can still like bandy it as like something like it's something that I can use, so you shouldn't vote for me, a deterrent against voting for them. Right?
Question about that. Was that the wrong move from Carolyn to mention to Brandon and Danny that the person that was swapped into the tribe had an idol?
Um I'm thinking that she was trying to get into the conversation,
Okay.
the bro out conversation. So I think that was an overshare. She
Yeah.
overshared. Yeah.
It's like I forgot who it was, but there was like one I think it might have been Omer, right?
Mm,
In one of his podcasts with Rob Sestrin, he was he or whoever it was talking about like on those journeys when you're supposed to quote unquote get to know the person,
mm-hmm,
what you're supposed to do is be able to get away with saying as little as possible
mm-hmm.
while at the same time making the other two people like trust you,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Omer. Yeah.
right? So like I don't know. I don't know if it was an overshare, like, but I suppose the council decrees that it was an overshare
Yeah.
because we both seem to be leaning in that direction.
Mm. Yeah. And the philosophy, the philosophy that I think Omer was proposing really added to the whole, especially season 43, where everyone was being so cagey about information. Everyone was like hiding their information. And
Mm.
I think 44, at the very least, the casting that they put into 44 was a reaction to that everyone was
Yeah,
so they went into this with people who are willing to take risks, people who might slip up information, right? Because they didn't want the whole beating around the bush kind of tribals. Jeff probably wanted tribals to be a little bit more lively, right?
they they casted a bunch of uh gosh, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name now. Uh, they casted a bunch of Hawaii dudes,
Oh yeah, Ass Man,
Cody's. They
Cody.
casted they casted a bunch of Cody's,
Yeah, so they were
and
able to find Cody's who were also really fans of the game.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, so they casted a bunch of Cody's and a bunch of Owens,
yeah, yeah.
basically.
Owen. So yeah, another low that I've got is, well, I just came from watching the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and yeah, the we didn't get the tie-in. We didn't get the
Mm,
movie tie-in, given that they're both produced by Paramount. And yeah, no Dungeons and Dragons tie-in. That would have fit right into their medieval theming. We talked about this last time, and I think I also made that prediction the last time. Um, there was no dragon puzzle. I was hoping for at the very least a dragon puzzle, but maybe we can say that that last maze looks like a dungeon. I don't know. Uh, but yeah,
this
I really don't see. It's sad that they weren't able to, and that's what I wanted to talk about. The other tie-in that I thought that they could have done was, instead of that journey meal being just a meal, they would have gotten an early showing of the film.
yeah, right, yeah, like they did with that Adam Sandler thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so sad. That would have been amazing. You
Yeah.
know,
And then
what could
they'd
it be?
share it with their tribe, and like Brandon would be telling Kane about it, and Kane's like, "What? Why? I didn't get to see it."
Yeah, that would have been great. And we also didn't get a shot of manure
Yeah.
because it was the third time that
It's
they
the third
mentioned,
time.
and sort of like Beetlejuice when you say Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice shows up. Sorry, that was the third time that I mentioned that name
Yeah.
on the podcast, so it had
So
to
it
show up.
had to show up. So yeah, so sad for me that we didn't get the Dungeons and Dragons tie-in.
And we didn't get to
Uh,
see the dunk shot, just saying.
yeah,
But we did get
but we
Martin's
did get the third turd.
and we did get and Martin did get the medevac.
Yeah,
Though
Martin
he's
did
been
get
predicting it every episode since like the second one. This is it. This is the medevac.
This is the
guys.
medevac. Oh no, I missed it the last time. Today is this episode is the medevac. Right. Yeah. One last low for me is for everything that happened in the episode. It felt to me, and it was still 42 minutes, right? It was still an hour
Yeah.
long episode. The episode felt short. Probably because we didn't get a tribal, but that's happened before. But it's just it still felt short. Probably because we didn't get too many scene changes. They stuck
Yeah.
they stuck to one tribe. We didn't really get to see a lot of the other tribes either, right?
Well, in connection to that,
Mm.
something that I'm noticing about this season is they're great episodes, but it always feels like the next episode is going to be like the big episode, and then it never is. You know? Like, yeah, this is where it's gonna hit the fan, but it doesn't. Right? This is it.
Where
This is where you know,
the third is gonna hit the fan.
this is
Yeah,
where
it's
the
still
rubber
in-
meets the road, if we may. But yeah, where you know where the yeah.
It never happens, but they keep us wanting more. That's why I keep on tuning into it. But yeah,
Yeah.
nothing happens. Any other lows for you?
Oh, we'll no.
None. Okay.
We should keep this a bit shorter because you still have to edit this.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let's go ahead to Martin's thoughts.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
For my lows, I think it's a recurring thing. I may have brought it up, or Zhao or Joel have brought this up, that as this is like the fast-paced kind of style, kind of recording of a 26-day Survivor due to COVID restrictions. They have to ramp up everything, ramp up the challenges, ramp up the difficulty, and that proves very fatal sometimes to the body. Well, fine, not fatal, but very detrimental to the bodies of those castaways who were there, who had to do it like 10 times faster, 10 times stronger, 10 times the intensity compared to a 39-day game. And that's how I think, the first guy who left in the first episode, and this time Matthew had to leave because of injury, because of lingering injuries. And that sucks. That's a low, because these guys would have had a bigger chance had they stayed. Like, especially Matthew. He was already in prime position, but that slip, that really just did him in. That sucks. And that's it.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Wow. Just one low for Martin, and yeah.
Yeah.
Not fatal, just detrimental for the health. It would have been a different kind of I don't know if they would have aired it if it had been fatal, Martin.
That would have been like the end of Survivor if it had been
Yeah.
fatal. Like,
Yeah,
that isn't the show we want our kids to watch.
exactly. But lesson learned for Survivor for the producers as well. They probably have to make things just a little bit safer. Especially since they did. I will keep on saying this. They did cast a lot of risk takers, or castaways who want to take a lot of these risks. And yeah, so if they keep on doing that, they're gonna have at least that one castaway, or maybe a chunk of castaways who are into doing that. So they gotta keep things safe as well.
Should just tell the cast to be like, stay away from those rocks.
Stay away from the rocks. And then somebody tries to climb the tallest tree and then gets into an accident as well. And like,
because they see a snake.
yeah, because they see a snake and they wanna look at it face to face.
So
So
we're
yeah,
now gonna call those rocks Matthew's rocks, right? I think it's gonna
yeah,
be
I guess
the Matthew rocks.
the Matthew rocks, right?
Yeah. Or what's his last name?
Oh, I don't quite remember his last name.
Anyway,
Anyway, so let
the
us go
Matthew
ahead
rocks.
to our predictions. You got any predictions for the next episode?
Um, I was gonna say Mergatory, but you're putting forward the idea of Survivor One World sort of thing.
Probably, although because I'm going with the whole thing, the whole red herring thing with the next week on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Josh who was quoted as saying, "Drop your buffs," reading from something. I think that comes later on in the game, in the episode. I do think that they are
Mm.
going to spend probably a day or two all in the same beach,
Okay.
but without anything happening. Just get everyone there, just to make it, again, make it unpredictable. Don't I mean they're expecting Mergatory, but no, you're putting them in the same beach. They live in the same beach. They're not merged, right? And they still compete separately, and then after that they become merged.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're still going to keep the same tribes and stuff.
yeah. Just I
Ooh.
mean, it makes, for me, it'll make for interesting TV, right? They'll be in the same beach. They will be in the same what do you call this, shelter, but they're not merged. They're still all three opposing tribes,
The
right?
last time we had a Survivor One World, it was the Dark Ages.
Yeah, so this is medieval. So it is the another way
Ooh.
for another term for medieval is like the Dark Ages. So right,
Ooh, so we're in for another Dark Ages of Survivor,
yeah, there
which
you
means we're
go.
gonna have a Philippines that's going to be like the shining sort of beacon in an otherwise bleak run of bleak and dreary run of seasons. All right.
Yeah. Mm.
But
This is
okay,
them
so
trying to correct their one world. Anyway, you were saying.
I was gonna say Mergatory in the way that it was in the way that it
Mm.
was done in the past couple of seasons, but um I'm gonna defer to you.
No, I mean
Let's
it's fine. I mean, it's my prediction.
yeah, it
Any
is.
which way, the council wins.
Yes. All right, all right. So it is either going to be a Mergatory or it's going to be a One World.
One world.
And Martin's and let's just say that Martin's prediction is that it's going to be just a straightforward merge. That way we have all of our bases covered.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other predictions?
We don't have like the episode title came out of the preview, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
I don't really.
Josh
Yeah. Was it?
Josh
No,
what?
it was Matt, right?
Or is
I
it
think it
Matt?
was
I
Matt.
don't know.
It was Matt.
But yeah, Survivor with a capital
Survivor
S.
with a capital S. So yeah, it's we don't really have whose line is it actually. I did also mention this already. One of my predictions that Jamie and Carson are gonna have huge targets on their backs because of what Carolyn
Mm,
shared during the
yeah.
meal. And nobody knows that, nobody outside of the three of them know that it expires when they finally share the same beach. That's why I'm more keen towards them still on separate tribes, because why would you say when you live on the same beach,
Yeah.
right? In that advantage paper, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
expiry. So I don't know. It's like, so just to give that a little bit more importance, that line from that paper, a little bit more importance. So still make them vie for their lives, right?
So what we're
On the
saying
beach.
is that there's going to be at least one more tribal council
Mm-hmm.
where they aren't merged,
Where they aren't merged, and then afterwards, right after that, they go and merge.
and the swap screw idol is not going to be available at that tribal
Yeah,
council because they're all living on the same
they're living
beach.
on the same beach already.
Makes sense.
Right. So they live on the same beach. They still compete as three tribes, and then the losing tribe goes to tribal council. The two remaining tribes are said that okay, you guys are gonna get merged. Whoever comes out of this one,
Mm.
the whoever doesn't get voted out, they join the merged tribe.
Hmm.
So yeah,
No shillelagh of time.
that's how you earn the merge. Yeah, you win the immunity challenge. You win the immunity challenge so that you get into the merge.
No shillelagh of time. This
No, I hope not. I really hope not. I mean, we got the best out of it already with when Erica won, so that's good enough.
it's all
That was
downhill from there.
it was all downhill from there. They never really got the time, the going back in time metaphor right. So yeah, don't do it anymore. Especially
All right.
since the cast of season 44 didn't see season 43, where they didn't do the shillelagh of time. Right?
Yeah, so they're all under the impression that it might still be in
Yeah.
play. Mm. Okay.
Yeah. Other predictions?
No.
Okay. All right. So let us go to our survivors of the week. Who is first off? We've got the castaway of the week,
Carolyn.
Carolyn.
Straight up, like
Yeah.
with Carson it's a close second, but we didn't get to see him do very much. It
Mm,
looks like he's doing well, but Carolyn was doing well. You know?
mm. Yeah, she's like I said, she's growing on me. And I think I already mentioned this last week. What she says is actually correct. It's logical. It's the way that she says it that is weird, and it's off-putting because
Right.
like when she says that thing about you have to do what's right for your strategy or something like that, or what's more advantageous to you or so, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing. The thought is correct, but
Mhm.
she was doing it in a mocking way
Yeah.
that makes it weird, that makes it feel as if she's not taking it seriously. So yeah, so I'm learning to filter the way that she talks uh from what she is actually saying.
Yeah. Right.
And how about goat of the week? I think that this is also easy.
Josh.
Josh. Yeah.
My God. That that idol. That idol, bro.
I know, yeah. That, and going back, the fact that he got implicated in the Brolians with Danny and Brandon without them doing anything, that was just it was just too sad for him.
Because he's a personal trainer, apparently.
Yeah, he's a personal. And then I mean, what was it? Danny would have known that he's not a personal trainer, right? Because I'm sure
Yeah.
he told his tribe that he's actually a surgeon.
We
So
don't know that. We
how
didn't
would
get
it?
any. We didn't get any
Oh
Josh
yeah, yeah,
content.
yeah. But how would they think? Did was it him who said that he's good with that? Is that his
He has
hands?
steady hands. Yeah,
Yeah, because he's a personal trainer. That's so weird.
because he needs to spot people. Just putting
Uh,
that out there.
yeah. Well, we'll see when they do merge. We'll see what if they come out with it. Yeah. Purple of the week.
Ratu's reaction to Matthew leaving,
That's good. That's good. We didn't
because
get
we
the
didn't get
whole
to see that.
boohoo. Yeah. Yeah. He didn't. I don't think that he even went back after he was pulled or he quit the game. I don't think he
Yeah,
had. He was given the chance to go back to camp.
yeah,
Right.
he wasn't.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what the interviews said, or
Mm.
that's what he said in his interviews. because if he had gotten the chance to go back, he would have, you know, like a person that had just eaten Mexican food exiting an elevator. He would have left.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, it's sad. It's sad that that happened. That had to happen. Yeah. For me, Purple of the Week, I go back to the movie tie-in. Go back to I would have liked a dragon puzzle or a gigantic D20 being rolled down, or be factoring into the game. I don't know.
That would have been great.
Yeah. And Kane would have enjoyed it so much. And probably Carson. Not sure. Not really too sure, but yeah.
And Matt probably would have.
Yeah. Well, a lot
Yeah.
of them, Fanny, and some of them would be like clueless as to what that big angular dice thingy is. But yeah. Yeah. All right.
right.
Any other thoughts for this episode?
No.
Okay, cool. And so that is it for this episode of the Council of Titos. If you liked our video, hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel. Also consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get updated whenever we come up with new content on the Laro-Laro lang channel. This channel has other shows on it focused on sports and other similar things. And for those of you who don't want to have to look at our mugs while we talk Survivor, you can always catch us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Council of Titos and you'll find us there. Anyway, this has been Chief Bisdak, Joel Parcon.
Beetlejuice.
We hope that you can join us and Beetlejuice again on the council soon. Until then, stay safe, everyone. The Titos have spoken.